Hello there. It's me. You're talking to Brian. Well, you're not talking to me. I'm talking to my fucking self. Okay? How's everybody doing this weekend? It's Sunday. We're getting closer and closer to my vacation, which is just something. Just I'm really excited for this whole vacation situation that's heading my way. I think next week will be the last call-in show for a while, but you will get so much shit, so much fucking stuff from me, Brian. You're getting all the stuff that I can think of. You get your Now We're Cooking, the podcast about Dane Cook. You get some what else you get? You get a gut shot, special Christmas gut shot, and a special Christmas video podcast from me and the boys from Block Party, where we watch Christmas in America. I highly recommend you put that on your fucking TV because it's one of the craziest fucking things I've ever seen in my entire life. It is some church in 1973 started putting on a thing called Christmas in America every year, and it's a compilation of a bunch of the shows. And if you saw these shows, if you see this thing, and also it'll be a podcast to listen to that you can enjoy, but I really can't tell you how much you should try this. So is everybody having a good weekend? We're getting closer to Christmas. I did a whole Christmas day yesterday with the family. It's been quite a fucking long time since I've done like a it's been quite a long time since I've done something like just was like, I'm not gonna walk today. I'm gonna fucking get up. I'm gonna get the fuck out of bed, and I'm gonna go get a Christmas tree. Went and got a Christmas tree. And because we get real trees. Now, it's not the type of person I want to be, real tree guy. I think I'm a real tree guy from here on out, though. I don't think I'm going to be able to get away with it, with not having I don't think I'm going to be able to get away with not having a real tree because the kid likes them now. It's been a few years. So let's see some of the people in the chat. First of all, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't, am I losing everybody? All right, we're here. Okay. But yeah, so I guess here's what we're going to do. I'm going to answer some phone calls. We're going to talk a little bit about my tree and all that fun stuff. It looked like everything was going away there for a second. That's what made me nervous. And I wish I could sing Show Me Some Pink, Hootie Owl. All I remember is all he had to do was just show me some pink. And I don't think I can play audio on here. I don't think I'm set up for that right now. Because you know what? I'm going to sit and talk to you all. And plus, Show Me Some Pink is in the middle of a 6-hour mix of Greaseman that I listened to. I listened to 6 hours. I mean, and hey, look, Hootie Owl, if you want me to give you an invite to my 12 hours of Greaseman, 12 hours of the best of Greaseman mix, I'll fucking give it to you right now. Like, you can have it. I'm going to keep my hands on it for next year. But, yeah. Anybody that wants a Shock Jock thing that I've played, if I got it, I'll give it to you. So you just ask me, and I will give it all to you. You're welcome to it. So we got Soggy Bottom Boy Dennis saying he listens all day at work, which I like. Fixer Punk put up his tree, which, Grayson, thank you for, it is nice to put up a tree. I don't know if they do real trees in Southern California. Brooklyn Skull says I listen on my walks. Well, yeah, that's the best way to listen to Street Fight. So yeah, the special Christmas gut shot. I wasn't gonna do. I wasn't gonna do gut shot. I was gonna do a gift guide on the way up to gut shot and stuff. To Christmas, but then I found out there is an episode of gut shot or Gutfeld that had Tyrus, Mike Rowe, John Taffer, and Kat Timpf as the panel. So me and my buddy Drew, uh, you know, we did a gut shot of that episode. So I think you'll love it. It's going to be very fun. It is a goof. It is a very goofy thing. So we got some room in the queue. If you want to give us a call, 614-655-3887. I can talk to you and we'll have some fun. Hey, let's get out there on the field and have a little fun. And now I have to get my friendos on the phone so that I can drink my kratom and eat my weed. So let's get this first call on here. Oh, hello. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who am I talking to?
Oh, hi there. It's me, Hank, from Los Angeles.
Hi, Hank. How are you?
I'm feeling the Christmas spirit, Brian. I
The
wish I
Holy
had
Spirit?
children. I would take the no, that's supernatural. I'm talking about earthbound spirits. The god of capitalism, Santa. I wish
He
I was
is.
thinking about that. How that's like the ultimate grooming, isn't it? Like people are going to be in line worried about their kids getting groomed, and then they're standing in lines that could put their kid on an old man's boner, who's going to make
I
them feel like they need to get gifts in order to have approval from God. I think it's fucked up. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I need to talk to all the parents out there of little kids. Um
Yeah.
what I would not do, and I did. And it is an incredible shortcut. And I think you
All right.
guys would if you have a kid, it's a very it's a tempting thing. And that is when they're freaking out or being assholes or throwing a fit, tell them Santa Claus might not come because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're being bad, you know? I did that a lot when my daughter was little because you get frayed. You get to the end of your rope when they're being loud. And Christmas time, you have that like built-in kind of secret, and they will just stop because now that this is the mean thing I did, and I hate that I did this, and I feel bad about it. But I used to yell if my daughter was throwing a tantrum and she was being loud, I would run in with the phone and I would say, "Yeah, I'm talking to Santa," and just hold it out like so Santa can hear everything you're saying, and then she would get real mad at me and then quietly stew so Santa didn't hear her, which was always very smart. I admired her for it. But I kind of feel bad now making Santa be I kind of feel bad now making Santa be my like uh you know, disciplinarian in my home. But
Yeah. The cudgel with which you use to shape your daughter's persona and psyche into a never-ending ferocious beast of consumption and consumerism. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that that's how we get the kids early to use. It's interesting, but at the same time, what are you going to do? Uh, Proper parenting. It's always easier to use some sort of shortcut like an iPad or like threatening her that she doesn't get a. Would you do that all year? Like, does that work? Like in like April?
nah,
Like
well
Santa's
it
always present.
does. It does work. You know what? You
Yeah.
don't get a lot. Yeah, you know. You probably remember getting a long time with Santa Claus. You don't really get a ton of time with Santa Claus. You know, the
Yeah.
kid doesn't know what's going on until they're about 3, maybe 2. They
Oh, you mean
kind of
before they
start to get the idea. So
You
then,
mean before they
okay,
learn
so
he's fake? That's okay.
yeah, it's like 8 or 9 years old. I think it's really you get like 6 years with Santa Claus, and then it's over. I mean, I ended up telling my kid because she really wanted to fucking believe, and I didn't want to go to school. As I've said in the past, uh, you know, I wanted to make sure my kid wasn't weird. So I was like, "Hey, man, there's no Santa Claus." when I figured everybody in her
Right.
school didn't believe in Santa Claus, so that she wouldn't go to school and be like, Santa Claus is coming, and some kid would make fun of her. And she was mad at me then for it, but I think she's pretty glad now that I said, like, hey, hey, don't go in there believing in Santa Claus because the kids will make fun of you, because they will. I mean, that's just people act like the kids are so fucking like great, but they ain't they know what's going on. Also, I want to bring this up real quick. Forever Since Breakfast said my 9-year-old kid found out himself earlier this year that there isn't a Santa Claus because he was snooping around. I'm gonna tell you a fucking story that I have never told anywhere. I don't like to bring it up. I don't even like to talk about this because one of the principals of the story is on the phone on this call right now as Jason producing. And then there's, me, who is also part of this story. No, I'm part of this story, but just a little small part of it. I would say he's the biggest part, but I'm going to tell it anyway. We used to snoop around to see what we were getting for Christmas every year after we knew my parents had gone, Christmas shopping. And we cut school a lot. I mean, we were straight up we just didn't go to school very much. Especially this year. We asked for a Super Nintendo. We fucking got a Super Nintendo. It was very exciting. And my brother stayed home when my parents weren't there, play the fucking Super Nintendo, and then put it back. And then I was like, well, they're going to wrap it at some point. Then you can't. They fucking wrap it. He cuts the goddamn thing open in the wrapping paper and pulls it out and plays it and then wraps it back up and puts it back where it was. Dude was playing the goddamn Super Nintendo a month and a half before we got it for Christmas. It was genius. This is something I admire personally. Yeah. I never heard anybody did that. Oh, Nuanced Guy in the chat said I did that shit with PS2.
We got caught snooping at our gifts because my mom bought Monopoly, but it was in Spanish, and so we ran out and we were like, "Mom, you got the wrong box. You got the Spanish." Somehow, and then she got mad because we were snooping. That was one of our brief stories.
You know what though? Doesn't it seem, Hank, like?
Go ahead.
I think that's part of the fun of the fucking thing. Like, I think like part of the fun is you gotta hide the shit, and then they can look for it. If they find it, they fucking got it. And see, this is interesting. Forever Since Breakfast says, my kid found his Easter basket stuff and found out that the Easter bunny is fake, and that led to questions about Santa. So I had to tell my daughter the Easter bunny was fake so early. Like, I think she was like 4 because she was afraid of it. Like, just the idea of a sort of human-sized rabbit coming into the house at night and putting some candy and toys, it like really scared her. Like it was a horror movie character or something. So I had to tell her it was something else that does it.
Yeah. What if the origin of that is that she was conceived the night that you saw Donnie Darko? Something like that.
God, I mean, I don't think I have seen Donnie Darko, believe it or not, one time, and then said I'm never watching that.
Hell yeah.
And again, I hated it. I hated that movie with all
great
my
Easter
soul.
Film.
It is great. No,
but
it is interesting though. It is interesting though. I think I'm a lot more lenient on Santa than a lot of my comrades, in that, like, I think it's almost, I can appreciate Santa in a way that, like, I find myself very infuriated by Elf on a Shelf. I don't fucking like that at all. I never bought it. My daughter wanted it. I never bought it. Uh, and it is ubiquitous now. If you have children, you're supposed to get the fucking kid an elf on a shelf. It's a $40 book with a stupid elf that you pose and make different. The parents have to make a different picture of every night. And this must have happened between 1999 and like 2004 because I'd never heard of it. And then my daughter was born in 2004. And as soon as she was old enough, she's like, we got to get an elf on a shelf. And I was like, what the fuck is an elf on a shelf? Then when I found out how much it was, I was like, we're never going to get an elf on a shelf. It's $40. I didn't spend $40 on that. Santa Claus is the big Christmas guy. You know, that's the way it works.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just getting mad.
That's the consumerist. That's gross. It's like it's all this ritual was like kind of original. I know a lot of it came out of Madison Avenue marketing and stuff, and it's kind of I don't even necessarily think I know I'm going to come across as a little bit of a curmudgeon, but I find the whole like gift giving thing to be very good and healthy for like within a community. I don't think there's anything wrong with giving gifts, but I think that instinct to sort of share with our families and want to spend time with our families, maybe have like an annual, the seasons are changing ritualistic thing is actually really good. But they've taken that and then injected all this cultural stuff into it to turn us into these sort of consuming monsters. So we did all the rituals. We still do. Like my family, we always had huge, big tree, tons of gifts. My grandma, she had some dude that dressed up as Santa, and this guy would come over dressed as Santa. So as children, we got to have Santa show up at the door and come in, and we all got to sit on his lap and do Santa bullshit, as people do. So it's like really ingrained. And actually, that's how I discovered there is no Santa. Is I noticed that the hair on his arms between his sleeve and his white glove was like dark brown. It was like dark man hair. And I noticed, and Santa has white hair. And so then I looked at his face and I saw that he was wearing a fake beard. And I accused him of being a fake, and I jumped off his lap. That's how I figured out Santa wasn't real. But there's also that kind of cat and mouse game we were referring to earlier. That's kind of fun too. I'm rambling, honestly, but they got your children in. But all the plastic it produces, though, all the waste that just goes into this whole goddamn thing. I do woodworking, man. I'd love to build someone an item that'll last them for years and years, and that's a real. I don't know. I find the whole thing just kind of gross, to be honest. The authenticity
like the gifts. I like getting the gifts for the people close to me and shit, and like getting them something hopefully good. I mean, I generally, everybody knows how I work. It's just like, what's something expensive I can give somebody? And then that'll make me feel good because I gave somebody something expensive. And I do agree with Forever Since Breakfast here in the chat that says, I hate the pressure to give gifts, like having to buy shit they probably don't ever want. And that's true because, like, it is considered wrong to give your friends money, which is the weirdest fucking thing in the world because, I mean, I want money. Hey, if my friend gave me money, I'd be like, now you know what I like. And that is money. And I think like if you're going to Kohl's or some shit like that and you're just picking something off of a shelf, like a pair of pajama pants that are like branded with the Guinness logo on it and a piggy bank that looks like a Guinness can. This is something I've gotten before. That's why I said I don't even drink. I never drank in my life, really. And somebody got me that. And if you're buying that, I just think you shouldn't buy the person anything because it's really not like, I mean, people don't want that. I'll buy my own pajama pants. And also buying gifts for adults is really weird. Because, I mean, while it's nice to get stuff, if I want something, I generally get it, Like, I go and get it because I want it. And nobody's going to buy me something that I'm not going to get because I can't afford it. You know what I'm saying, Hank?
I do, yeah. No, I totally do. And in my family, we're pretty good about like just not wasting money, and being so we're sort of upfront. Like what do you need or what can I get you? And usually it's just a gift card to hardware store or Amazon or some shit like that, or some no ethical consumption anywhere. But
I'm going
buying
fucking.
someone something that they
I'm going all
go ahead.
in on
What?
Lego gift cards this year. I said I want
I
Lego
think that's
gift
very.
cards.
Mhm. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I was thinking you should do custom when you start doing your own builds. You should start out with like foods. Just make really simple little burgers and hot dogs and stuff like that. Not that
Yeah.
you need my advice.
I mean, I also like
No, but
giving people. I like giving people stuff that maybe like I'm giving some of the kids some of my Lego sets, so that they can
yeah,
put them together. Because when they come over to the house, they're always like, you know, they want to see them all and look at all of them, and a lot of people's parents either. Obviously, a lot of people's parents don't want to buy a $250 Lego set for their kid. But I am a grown kid, and I will buy myself a $250 Lego set, but I don't need to keep all of them. So I'm kind of sorting them out and getting them set up and giving them to people. Now, I can't say what Gwen's getting because she's in the other room. She is not getting Legos for Christmas. Psychic Gasoline. She is getting. Well, I think the big gift this year is going to be an espresso machine because she wants one. It's not a hobby anymore with her. It's not like she's teaching. Like she did it for a living. She like knows how to do this stuff, and she's going to be going away to college. So I think we're going to get her the barista machine so that she can make her own lattes, which I assume will save her a bunch of money because it's expensive to buy lattes
is she
every
picking
day.
out? Yeah, yeah, that's
Uh,
true. She's practically losing money if she doesn't. But you're gonna let her pick out the one she wants because if she has experience, she'll let her. She'll make a better
this
choice.
motherfucker
Don't
is
you know what
not
I'm
going to
saying?
pick her own. No, she doesn't. That's the thing people don't get about her. I don't know if they've heard this, and you might hear it over the break when me and her do a show together. She's like ultra traditional, like way more traditional than me. And oh shit. Yes, I will DM you A1C ACAB. I will. I need to know that. I need a cheap one with one of the wands. The cheapest one I can get with one of the milk foamers is the one I want. But Sharkbait said my husband won't be getting Lego, but he wants to buy it on his account to get the VIP points. Dude, I'm telling you, I haven't used any of my VIP points yet, but I'm fucking a while ago I saw that I have $100 off and I'm like, fuck, see if I get like $200 in Lego gift cards, and then I have $100 off. You see what kind of money, what kind of set I can get? I can get one of the fucking $500 ones. Now
That's awesome.
that's yeah. There's so many really expensive ones I want to buy so badly. So that's what I'm looking into. But yeah. Well, I hope you're having a good season, Hank. You seem I well, I mean, you're having a very socialist Christmas because you seem
Uh,
like you're into the idea, but also you hate it.
yeah, it's. I wouldn't call it hate. I guess the artificiality of it strikes me as being very engineered by the masters for themselves, so that like I've my mother's had some issues with like having enough money over the years and stuff, and I've seen it where
Mm.
she like has this pressure to like spend money she doesn't have on this stuff,
Yep.
and don't get me started on the decorations. I think that's just another way we can just get to brick more earth into pollution that will never. It'll always be useless earth material. Same with Halloween. The decorations drive me crazy a little bit too. But I do woodworking, man.
Oh,
I've never. I've never sold a single woodworking item, but I've given away tons of stuff that I've built because I love the gift giving. I think it's a language of humanity. The sharing of it is actually beautiful. But I just find Christmas to be kind of off tasting. But I do have a great recommendation. Can I throw that at you before you boot me out?
Go for it. Yep, I'm gonna
Really
boot you out here
a
too.
wonderful gift. This is a gift that will last for it'll come back in the form of, hey, that gift you gave me, I use it all the time. Get
Wait,
somebody
let me guess.
flour.
Let me guess.
All right, go ahead. I almost ruined it.
Gun.
Silicone dildo.
Okay.
You were close.
Well,
you were close.
You don't want to be
the
getting a
hard
dildo
dildos.
in front of your family.
Well, the double-headeds those are good for self-defense and amorous interactions.
Yeah.
No. It's not. No. Good gun is a good one though. We are going to need that to fight off the other guns. That's the only reason. It's one rational reason to have one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Flour sack kitchen towels, also known as potato sack or something like. So there's these huge durable cotton like kitchen towels, and they're useful for all kinds of purposes. You could wrap them up and tie them around your head. You could fold a baby up in one of them and wrap it around your shoulder. Just using them, having them around the kitchen. I've given them to people in my life over the years. They're affordable little pack of 4 or 8, maybe even 6. And flour sack kitchen towels. You will be the star of everybody's life to whom you give that. There you go, man.
I used those today. I made bread today. Happy holidays, Hank. I'll be back next week. I'll be here next week.
All right. I'll go.
Bye, Hank.
I'll do some drugs. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I'll be here next week. So yeah, next week I'm here, and then the week after that, if a call-in show is supposed to come out, you're getting a crossover show, and then obviously there's the other shows that'll come out that are just me and a guest. I got Hal Doughty, I got Trevor from No Cartridge, I got I don't know who else, but I got some people, okay? I have a whole spreadsheet of people. Let's answer this phone and see who we got here. Hello. Who am I talking to?
What's up? It's Bear.
Bear, I thought you were fucking Hank earlier because you guys have like roughly the same sort of area of calls. So I was going to guess Hank, or I was going to guess Bear when Hank called. So how's it going, Bear?
Oh, it's going great. Speaking of Hank, seems like a great guy. Do not get those damn towels. I'm in the kitchen all the time. I hate those fucking towels so much.
Oh no. Flour sack towel. Let me look at these fucking towels now. Now you got me wanting to look.
Okay. Here's my complaint with them, right? They're not thin enough to use like a cheesecloth, and they're not thick enough to use like a proper towel. It kind of does a half-assed job at both. So I don't really ever fucking use them. I have like a million of them because my mom buys a bunch of them and I live with her still. So like when I'm cooking at home, I end up using them, but I don't like them. I try to avoid them at all costs.
I have some of these. Now I'm looking at the King
I think
Arthur
everyone
flour
has some
site,
of them.
which is my, King Arthur flour is my favorite flour. So I go to their site to look for everything. The big King Arthur head. It is a co-op, which makes me feel pretty good,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the flour sack style towels. I'm just not.
Sad. I like them. I mean, I actually don't know. I think I know. I think they're the real stiff ones, which I believe I do use. But
here's the real. I don't know if this is like. I don't know if this is like a Southern thing or if it's just a poor person thing. But if you'll take like old plain white T-shirts, you can just cut those into towel shapes and use those instead, and they're way more effective at everything.
That's wild. The plain white T-shirt towel. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I have like 5 different kinds of towels in my kitchen because I don't like to make choices. And now Hank is yelling. Now everybody's mad. And I don't like, Psychic Gasoline says everybody's yelling now. They're like, hey, what the fuck, man? You got to get a lot of different towels.
I will take that to the. I will die on that hill wholeheartedly. You can all. You know what? This is the one thing where I'll be a lone wolf. I fucking no. Fuck those towels. I hate those towels. I've worked in enough kitchens to know those towels suck.
So how's the car dealership going?
Oh, it's great. We have way better towels there.
Oh, I'm sure they're for wiping windows or something like that. I'm not. So
Nah.
how's it going? Did you get your paycheck yet?
I did get my first paycheck, and it was kind of nice. I gotta say.
More or less
I
than
mean,
you
it
thought?
did. It is the exact amount that I thought it would be, actually.
See, here's the thing. I'll say this, Bear. That's better than possible if you get there. You know, like I have
Yeah.
never in my life had gotten exactly what I thought, and I've never in my life gotten more. It's always less. It doesn't matter. I could do the math 100 different ways. It's always less. So
I have
you're
had
lucky.
like
That's basically more.
I have had 2 times in my life where I got more than I thought, because just tips, I guess. I don't know. That was always doing crapshoots whenever I was at Chili's. I was kind of just guessing. This is the first time I've ever been spot on, though. Usually, I think I'll have more money and then I have less.
How much did you have it spent? How much of it did you have spent when you got it?
So it all immediately went to credit card. Here's what happened, right? You want to hear some bullshit? This is gonna be me complaining for like 5 minutes now because this has already been brought up. All right, here's the bullshit that happened to me, right? Like 2 months ago, I got caught on one of those damn speeding cameras, right? We don't have those really in Georgia, except in school zones, right?
Yeah.
And even then, we only have like 2 school zones near me that have those damn cameras. And I know exactly where they are. So I never go over like fucking 30 miles an hour in those zones. And I never drive through there when they're school zones. So like, I'm not getting caught for shit, right?
Yeah, you got caught.
But we
though.
get to,
It sounds like.
well, I got a letter that says that I was going 50 miles an hour in that school zone, right?
Okay.
Which there's no way that happened, Not even if I was high off my fucking ass, not paying any fucking attention. There's no way I was going 50 in that school zone. It didn't happen. I'm here to say that it didn't. That's a damn lie.
Bear, I got to tell you, you're putting me in an uncomfortable situation because I can't push back or everybody will say, this motherfucker's taking the cop side. And this is my living. So I can't start taking the police's side on things. Number one, it'll make me seem bad. But also, I mean, okay, here's what I'm going to say. Is it one of those things that's like a machine? It's like what's a speedometer? Is it a radar that's in a big box that tells you how fast you're going when you go by?
No, there was none of those things up either. That's the thing. There was nothing to indicate that.
Because it feels like, okay, here's the way I look at it, right? We're talking, and this is purely, I'm not taking the police side here, but I'm saying it's me and you are on the same team, Bear. Don't forget this. But it's me and you against a machine that finds your speed and then issues tickets based on that speed. So I don't know how we can ever win this argument.
But I did it, right? And it might have been the calibration. It might have been like something with the rain because it happened during the rain. Like there's a lot of like possible explanations for why that machine could have been wrong, But that's not even what matters, right? I got
there
that
shouldn't be
fucking letter.
cameras. I will say there shouldn't be cameras, Bear. Yeah, I agree with that.
No, there shouldn't be. But there's no way I was going that fast, right? Like, there was no way possibly in this world I was going 50 in that school zone.
I'm not going to say that, only because there is a way that could be happening. It's that you were going 50 and the camera got you.
I will, okay, look, I will say that in my heart of hearts, there is no way I can imagine I was going that fast. I am very attentive to how I drive, and I would not have been going that fast. But that's not even the biggest part of this, right? What's bullshit about this is...
What if somebody else driving your car?
No, I'm the only person that ever drives this car, and that's the next part of this, right?
Okay.
So this is technically in my parents' name, right?
Oh, no.
So it sent it to the tag of my parents. So it was like addressed to my dad. But the ticket was only $100, right?
Oh, God. Okay.
Okay, so this is where it gets bullshit, right? I say it's just $100. I was still working at Chili's in August and still had some money saved up. I was like, just let me pay you the fucking money and it'll be over with, and we'll never have to worry about it again, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't want to do that shit because there was something on there about write a letter to this address if you weren't the one driving a car. And he was like, well, I wasn't the one driving it. You were. And I was like, no, just pay the fucking ticket. Don't waste our fucking day and do this shit and take my time up. Just let me pay the fucking $100, right?
Oh, no.
And he wouldn't.
Was there points? Is there points?
No. There wasn't, because it's just considered a parking ticket because of like law shit. But what happened was we sent in the letters and the State Department said, oh, okay, and issued a ticket to me instead for $300 instead of $100.
Oh, that sucks, dude. Oh, fuck,
So-
that does suck.
So now
I'm taking your side
pay
here.
fucking three
as
times
far as
as much.
money.
3 times.
Yeah. I mean, your parents are. I mean, your parents now, to me, are the most Christian people in the world. They want to lie to the government.
Yeah, it's so fucking. I was like, just let me pay it. Don't waste our day. You don't want to do this shit either. And he was like, no, it's the right thing to do. We gotta pay the extra. We gotta take the time. We gotta send the letters. We had to go get it notarized. He dragged my ass into the courthouse to get it notarized.
I think it was shit. I had to show up to court to a court date one time, and this is very bear core, so I'll just say it. I was there's this little town called Lithopolis, and I was in my work van, and it's a rural town, right? So the roads everywhere are 50 miles an hour around there, 50, 55, because you're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. But there's this small town,
Right.
and it goes down to 25 miles an hour in this town. And I'm fucking coming into this town and I'm hauling fucking ass because I'm running late. I'm in my work van, which, like, the police, I have to say, the police generally don't fuck with work vans. I was cruising around and like I did all kinds of stuff and didn't get in trouble. I think because they're just like, whatever. So I fucking get into this town and I'm slowing down, but I'm still going like 45, I think. Maybe almost 50 or something. And this fucking guy pulls me over and I get a fucking ticket for reckless driving, and I have to go to court. I have to drive out to this fucking town and go to court on a court date and then pay $285 for this ticket.
God.
And it just fucking fucked me because it was like this is when
Man,
I was
fuck
in
that.
like a really bad place, and it was just like this is when I'm broke as fuck. I had to take a day off work. I had this court date, so I had to appear, and it was
And now
just
you
like
lost those
you
fucking
get
hours
there,
too.
right? And when you get there to appear at these rural area speed courts, it's just a room full of fucking working people. You know what I mean? Like people, like working class people sitting in a room trying to fucking beg the goddamn judge to let them have a time to make a payment or do payment plans. And it was just like it that fucking fucked me up. I was selling stuff to pay that ticket because they don't let you do kind of a payment plan. Really, they will say they will, but they're like, yeah, you can pay it in 2 payments. $150.
Yeah, which isn't a fucking payment plan. Like, if I could afford that, I could just pay it in one, you know?
Yeah, but I'm with you. I mean, I swore up and down that I wasn't speeding, and I think I even like kind of said it in the court, like, no, actually, because I didn't have a lawyer, and I went to court, and I was just like, I mean, you know, like all I could think in my head, Bear, was like, they fucking caught me. There's nothing I can do. I mean, there's no way I can say I wasn't doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
You know,
I could say I don't think I was speeding, but they are the one with the tools, you know?
here's my thing, right? And there's almost no one in this world that can vouch for me because usually when I get pulled over, I'm by myself, right? But I'm very fucking specific and very obsessive about my driving, the way I drive, right? And because of that, I actually won't lie to cops if I get pulled over for some shit I did. I'll be like, yeah, I know, I was going 45 and a 30. Fucking just give me the ticket. We'll get it over with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
And I mean, it's just because, like, I don't know, it's something that's important to me. Fuck 12, but at the same time, I don't want to lie about my driving because I don't want to seem like I don't know what I'm talking about, you know?
I want to go to jail
So,
either.
like,
you know, if you're fucking around with the police, like, that's something, I mean, obviously, we see how much of a hair trigger these freaks are, and like, fucking around with them just always means more stuff, you know? It's like, I'm fucking around with I'm fucking around with the police. I'm lying or I'm saying something that they know, and it's just it fucks you. Zach in the chat says there are a couple towns in Indiana where the town's whole municipal budget is funded by speed traps on the nearby highways, and there was a little neighborhood by where I grew up that was a fucking total speed trap, 50 to 25. And it was just it turned 25 miles an hour just a little bit outside of town. So you wouldn't think it didn't give you the sign or anything that said, please slow down. And you would get pulled over there and everybody got tickets. The fucking state shut that police department down. The state of Ohio was just like, this is a speed trap. This is no more, and it's gone now after I moved away from it. I haven't been in that area of town in fucking 15 years, but I saw it in the news one day that they turned it into and I was like, oh, well, that would have been nice for me the multiple times I got busted.
Okay, you want to hear something kind of cool though?
Yeah.
So there is this spot in Rome, Georgia that's basically the same thing, right? But the places that the police have to park are really hard for them to actually like get out and do anything about the speed trap, right? So It is just a little bit of a time-honored tradition for those of us who either have cool cars or have friends with cool cars that we can borrow to just blow through there as fucking fast as possible and see if the cops can catch us or not.
See, I
never drove through in that shit, but I have been in the car when it happened, and we did not get caught, and it was kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. I would do it again if it wasn't for the fact that I think that's like they got new cars or some shit now, so it's harder to do. But it was a cool thing while it lasted.
I used to drive I used to drive my wife's car and didn't have any kind of temps or driver's license and shit like that. And I would drive through that little part of town. And I remember it was insane too. It was just fucking crazy. I would drive through that little part of town. And, you know, obviously you're going to see the police every time. You're driving through this town. They're clocking people all day. And I'm driving through this town without my fucking driver's license. And a cop pulls up behind me, like just driving. The cop didn't pull up behind me like, I'm busting you. He was just sort of driving, and I fucking panicked and just pulled off of the street and got out of the car and stood by the car because I figured he couldn't bust me for driving if I wasn't driving. Which seems true.
That is some
once.
verified paranoid logic too. Like that's not how that works.
Yeah, I did that. Well, me and this girl I know did that once because on prom night we were driving around getting fucked up, like drinking, and which, you know, shouldn't do that, you know. But I was a teenager, so we're driving around drinking, and we have an open bottle, and it smells in the car like fucking crazy. Because we're smoking cigarettes, we're smoking weed, we're drinking booze, just open fucking container in this car, and we're kind of buzzed. And we're driving in a neighborhood, and the thing the police would do in the neighborhood I grew up in was they would sort of like they wouldn't pull, so they would wait for you to do anything to pull you over. Like, it wasn't like, sometimes they would just pull you over and say, hey, are you lost? You know?
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
So they did that. They're like, hey, you know, me and this girl are driving. A cop passes us. We pull into a driveway to turn around because we had passed where we were going. So we pull in a driveway to turn around, and we're driving back towards where we go. Well, we see the cop fucking turn around after we turned around, and we're like, oh my fucking God, we are fucked. And we go to turn around. He follows us all the way. We're like, let's just go to Amanda's house. This girl, her dad was super cool. He let me live with him for a while when some shit was going bad with my family and shit like that. And we drove to his house, and the cop was still following us. I think running the driver's license, running the license, likely running a plate. And we stop. We pull over to the side of the road in front of our friend's house. We get out of the car and start walking up towards the door. But we know we can't ring the doorbell because it's the middle of the fucking night and all the lights are off. So we just are hoping that the cop sees us walking up to the house. And then he's like, oh, okay, well, they're where they need to be. But instead, as soon as we stop, before either one of us can get out of the car, the fucking light, they flip the lights. And you know, I don't think we got in huge trouble because we were in front of the house we were going to, but that was terrifying to me. I do need to address something in the chat from Psychic Gasoline. Says, I bet Brian doesn't wear a seatbelt to this day. No, not all the time. I have actually gotten to a point where, like, I know you can buy things so the seatbelt thing doesn't ding, but I've gotten to the point where I don't hear the ding anymore. I just drive it. But I do put it on sometimes. It just depends on, you know, what I'm doing. If I'm driving for a long time, I'll throw the seatbelt on, you know. But if I'm driving for 5 minutes, I don't feel like I need it.
I had a really long stretch where I didn't fucking wear seatbelts because I don't know why, but I just thought it made me like a better person to not, if that makes sense. You know, I just thought that like oh, if you like put on your seatbelt every time you get in the car, you're a fucking square or some shit. But then my boyfriend got really antsy about it, and so I started putting it on just because I just didn't want him to be like upset about it. So now
Yeah,
I
my wife's
do,
kind
but
of
I don't enjoy it.
weird about it too. But I try.
Yeah.
I've been in a lot of wrecks, so I should wear it. But I am also I'm Brian. So I have this way of doing things that, and like I said, most of the time I like to put it on. I'm not one of those guys that says like, I'm not one of those guys that says wearing a seatbelt is like lame or something like that. It's not something that crosses my mind. I usually just jump in the car and go. But, I don't drive that much either, everybody. Like I drive maybe once a week at the most. I pretty much walk everywhere. I don't live in a place where I have to drive, so not a lot of driving for the B dog. I go weeks without driving, so I'm sorry, everybody.
God, the envy
Not
I
a
have.
good example. What?
I said the envy I have. Like I don't want to
move to the
fucking drive
city.
anywhere, but I have to drive to get anywhere.
Yeah, I moved to the city, Bear. The city will fix you.
I would, but I lost all my money to speeding tickets and new tires. So
You'll get back. I'm gonna let you slide on the speeding ticket. I'm not gonna take the police's side. I think it's fucked up what happened to you, and your parents are the most Christian people I've ever heard of now. So,
yeah,
not even want to lie to the police.
I would have fucking paid it too. I just man.
Yeah, you got fucked there by your parents, which I mean,
Yeah.
not literally, but we just got a call that came in just now over in the queue, and my guess is they're gonna yell at me about not wearing a seatbelt. But Bear,
That's
it's
great.
good to talk to you. I gotta start working my way through this queue. I love hearing from you. Call us back. Call me back. All right.
I'll see you next week, man.
Yeah, next week. Last week until vacation. Bye-bye. Oh, it's so exciting for me to look at my dry erase board and see all these shows, which it's just an incredible amount of shows. So y'all will be very excited for that. I'm going to answer this next call. Hey, you're talking to Brian. Who am I talking to?
Hey, it's Rory in Chicago.
Rory in Chicago. How are you? I'm watching wrestling now, Rory.
That's what I'm calling about. What are you watching?
It looks like Fall Brawl 95. WC. I like when I have wrestling on the TV. When I'm recording, I always watch WCW because I was a big WCW head growing up. So that's what I'm watching. It looks like I can't remember who the ripoff guy is. I think it's the Butcher and DDP. God, who is the guy? I can't remember. It's a Ultimate Warrior ripoff, actually, is who it is. So what's going on? How's it going, Rory?
Good. I mean, I just enjoy talking about wrestling, so I thought I'd call back. The big thing that happened is I went to Dynamite here in Chicago the night before Thanksgiving. So that was the show where we didn't get MJF, but Regal came out, and apparently he's leaving AEW. I'm very confused, and I don't know what else of event happened that night. The main event was Jericho and I'm forgetting his name, the guy who's like the Bulldog. But yeah, so
that was
Ishii, yes. It's funny, everyone said that, but I was like getting really restless legs at that point, and I don't know, I'm not super invested in Jericho, especially just like didn't have a story. but like my legs were killing me, so I just like got up and was walking around for most of that match. And then afterwards, ever since everyone's been like, that's one of the best matches, so good. And I'm like, I should probably sit down and watch it.
You know, a lot.
But yeah.
I get antsy too, so I know the feeling. I mean, I loved it. I love Jericho though, so that might be that might also be the thing. He's my dude. I think he's my favorite guy this year. This year, Chris Jericho is my wrestler of the year. I think, just incredible.
Okay.
The dude bladed his chest. His chest.
That was wild.
It's fucking.
Yeah.
I've never heard of somebody taking a razor blade and cutting their chest to bleed all over the place. I was just in awe. I really enjoyed that. I mean, you know, I like bloody stuff. So, yeah. I mean, was it fun being there? I mean, I know it's a long night.
Yeah.
I know it's a long night because of the stuff. I know it's a long night because of Rampage and shit. So they do. I don't know why, but they make you wait for so fucking. They run these shows so long that I don't know. I always complain because I like 2 hours is enough for me when I'm out there. Again, going crazy when I'm out there watching shows, especially if you're in like Chicago or something. But that audience in Chicago was like hot. That was like one of the best audiences I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, that was really interesting. So I ended up leaving early because my friend who was supposed to come with me was sick. And so I'd said, okay, no worries. We'll watch Rampage together on Friday. And so I'd had like stuff to do earlier that day. So I was getting so tired that I left really early on in Rampage because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch this with my friend, and so that'll be fun to like be fresh for that. And also, I need to stop doing this. I took an edible, which I did the same thing when I saw them in LA, which is like fun on one level of like really experiencing it, but also like I think it's the wrong drug for the experience. Like I feel like wrestling, like you want to be alert and hyped and like be able to pay attention to the details. But yeah, one of the things that was really fun about the audience is that there were multiple different groups that had Mexican flags with them. And so, you know, everyone thought, oh, coming into Chicago, like, are people going to boo the Elite because they are pro-punk on principle? Or like, is this wrestling town going to surprise us and like be pro-Elite? But nobody thought about the dark horse that there would be a good portion of the audience that just rides so hard for Death Triangle that's why they're booing the Elite. And so that was fun. And then, yeah, at one point people did like the ole, ole, ole chant, which was really cool. And so I might totally be making this up. Cause again, I was not at my most, attentive and perceptive, but it kind of seemed like because there would be these waves. Like first there would be a CM Punk chant, and then there would be a fuck CM Punk chant, and then there would be a fuck the Elite chant, and then at one point there was a Colt Cabana chant. But it was like, it kind of seemed like the CM Punk chants, those were the first people. Like, because when the Elite first came out, it was a mixed response. There was like cheers and boos, and then it was like the loud, like aggressive people were like, CM Punk. And then when that kind of died down, there was like the second wave of people that was like, oh, are we safe now? Like, can we do our now? And then there was like a fuck CM Punk chant that kind of built. And like, again, don't know if I'm totally making this up, but it kind of seemed like I was up on the second floor, the cheap seats. And it kind of seemed like the more aggressive CM Punk chants were down on the floor. And like the anti CM Punk stuff was like up by me a little. Like it seemed like there was a little bit of a divide in that sense, but again, I don't know, who's to say. But yeah, the match itself was super fun.
It's hard to tell in those rooms sometimes, especially like you watch it on TV. Like, you know, I couldn't tell at all watching it on TV, and that like I think they fucked with the sound because they were saying fuck. And
oh yeah.
So I think they fucked with the sound there, but it was like pretty electric for me. It's like, and I'll say this too. What you were saying about when I go to concerts, I always want to leave early. So I'm with you. I know where you're at.
Yeah.
You know, because like
yeah, I'm not a night owl. Yeah.
I am not as much anymore. I can't claim to be one, but I stay up pretty late, and like anything I go to, I mean, because the really cool thing about doing what I do and stuff is that a lot of times, if a band that knows of me will get a hold of me and see if I want to come out. And they'll put me on the list, and I can like go to the show. If I don't pay for the show, I am not making it to the end. I will fucking leave. So
Yeah.
it is interesting though that like, I don't know, this storyline in wrestling has been very strange to me. The way people have reacted to it, because they are reacting to it in I don't know, it's a very strange, like, that show, and that was the show where Kenny, bit dude's arm and or whoever's arm, I don't remember, and did all that stuff, and people being mad about that. I was like, I think that's, I don't know what you think you're doing, in my opinion, like, what sort of, like, there isn't another form of entertainment where you can get angry at somebody, and when people can do things like where you can fuck with real life like that. There isn't another form of entertainment where like things can happen in real life, and you can, your character is an extension of you, so you can play with that. Like when a movie comes out and the actors are doing interviews and stuff like that, they're not in the character of that they were at in a movie. They can be in the same room as the villain of the movie, because it's not real. It's fake.
Yeah.
And wrestling is also fake. It's fake. But in my opinion, you go out there, you don't if they had gone out there and not acknowledged this stuff that had happened, this like humongous fucking story, then that's almost worse than goofing on it. Plus, why not goof on it? Who cares? Like, obviously I listen to like the Observer and stuff, and some of these shows, and like they're like, oh well, that pissed CM Punk off, and it's like, well, as far as he's concerned, he's like wants to be out, so fuck him. Who cares? Like, who fucking cares what pisses him off at this point on TV? And obviously, I would love to see them work something out and make this something on TV. But like, if they're not going to be able to do that, then goof on him. Fuck it. He's going to go to the competition anyway. So, well, in like 3 years or something, or however long his contract is. But like, that kind of thing, really seeing people like take sides instead of being like, listen, these guys are they're dumb and they're fucking crazy. They're truly crazy people. To be in a pro wrestling business, to be in this carny business, they're going to do crazy things, and it's going to be very weird. And like, things might get weird, and there's politics and stuff like that. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm interested in. I'm interested in the backstage politics and stuff like that. So when people are like, I just want them to get along, I'm fucking sitting at home like, no, I want more rumors, more leaks, more of this stuff, So that's, but yeah, I love this stuff. I am like truly enjoying whatever's going on. But I'm glad you had fun at it. Was that your first show, first big show?
No, I lived in LA for a year, and so I was there in June. It looks like Grayson Fixer Punk and I were at the same show where MJF did that long promo and called Tony Khan a fucking mark. So I saw that one, and then this was my second show. And then and I saw PWG show when I was in LA.
Oh, okay.
And that was the one where Takeshita and Garcia fought, and House of Black fought somebody, and then Masha Slamovich and Yuka Sakazaki were the one women's match. And then since being here in Chicago, I've been to a freelance wrestling show and an AAW show. And I'm planning to go to, there's an AAW show at the end of December. I'm just like trying desperately to convince one of my friends to come with me, because I'm kind of running through the friends that are like at all interested.
Getting somebody that's not necessarily a fan to see it is really fun. Everybody's mad at me because I said it's fake. I just say it's fake. I mean, a lot of the wrestlers say it's fake. It's not like I am not being like flippant about what they do. I think what they do is incredible, but you know, it's not fake.
Like fake meaning fictional.
Yeah, and you're just goofing around. I'm not trying to like take away from what they do, you know.
Yeah.
Although there are times where I wish they would understand that it's fake, because they sometimes take themselves a little bit too seriously. But yeah, well, I'm glad you had fun at that. I love the big arena shows, and that weekend, that Thanksgiving. That sort of Thanksgiving thing is like something that I would love to go to, because it's like Christmas and Thanksgiving are very classic days for pro wrestling, like live pro wrestling.
Oh,
and,
I didn't know that.
I mean, yeah. Back in the territories, they all used to run on both Christmas and Thanksgiving because you know, people don't have anything to do at the end of the day. It's kind of the same thing as going to the movies, the concept of going to the movies on holidays. And, all the territories would run on Thanksgiving and Christmas, or that week. So it's kind of a proud tradition. I hope to sometime like experience at some point, just because I've experienced so much of the modern stuff, but that's something I haven't ever seen. So I'm kind of jealous of you, but
well, the pain of being like a woman wrestling fan is kind of its own thing. Like, I realize this is a bit of a subject change, but like you were talking about leaving early, and the thing is, dark is some of my favorite stuff, because that's like when you actually get to see women wrestle, and like women like Emi Sakura, who's just really fucking good and just so fun, and she makes everyone look good in the ring with her, and she's never on TV. And so I'm always happy to arrive early for that stuff, but also like I don't know anything about like the territories and stuff, because I just this year, like it's been less than a year I got into it, and so I'm like just figuring out like what to watch now, and like, you know, dabbling in WWE before I even get caught up. And I saw, I think it was like the most recent Botchamania, like, you know, like the YouTube like compilation goof video, one of those that comes out regularly. And someone made one that was like cut together of a bunch of clips of Vince McMahon from like the early 2000s. And, you know, I've had the thought come across my mind that's like, so like, I remember briefly seeing it as a kid and just like, you know, maybe it coming on TV and just being like, yeah, this isn't for me. / probably like my parents being like, oh, well, we don't like that kind of thing, being enough to keep me away. Or so I thought. But then I saw this like compilation of Vince McMahon, and I was like, this is fucking horrifying. And like, it's so misogynistic, and knowing that like he is like a noted rapist, like, you know, like I remember reading not that long ago a story about how the first woman referee ever, it was like late 80s, early 90s,
Rita Chatterton,
he sexually assaulted her, and she totally left the business, and then there wasn't like another woman ref for a long time. And I'm like, oh, that's also probably why that, like, if I had happened to flip the channel to it as a kid, I probably saw that and was like, I don't like this. And so yeah, like with all the you were talking about, you love the politics and the dirt sheets, and like I find it compelling and also like upsetting because it's like it is as like someone might be said in the chat, like it's like a microcosm of everything that's like happening in our world and
Yeah.
like in capitalism, like visa issues, keeping wrestlers like careers from moving in certain ways are related to the fact that like borders are violence and like the fact that we don't have universal health care in the U.S. is an issue because these people are all independent contractors without health care. Like
Yep.
these things are all related. And like, it is such a stark reminder for me as someone who'd like, kind of spent some time in my little bubble of like leftist media and like musicals and then watching this and it's like, oh, right. Like the world is still very sexist and misogynistic and like closed-minded and like, just the fact that like intergender wrestling is like this whole argument forever. And I remember I saw it was like over the summer, there was some like event that wrestlers went to, including an injured CM Punk. And somehow intergender wrestling came up and Britt Baker and Jade Cargill were both like, yes, absolutely. And he was just like, no, we shouldn't have that. That doesn't work. And yeah, it's just like, it seems to still be this very contentious thing. And so I just wanted to bring that up because this is like a place where I feel like I can talk about that because like, I lurk on the subreddits and I see some stuff that's like, oh, wow. Okay. So the fans are just as just as sexist as anyone else, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I do want to say that like, from my understanding, the reason that they don't do intergender on TV, either one of them, is
advertisers.
because of the channel doesn't want man on woman violence, and that's like where it sucks because again, like I don't understand how like somebody doesn't sit down at the thing and say it's fake. Like, don't worry about it. Who cares what it looks like?
Yeah. Like tell a compelling story. And like people say like, oh, like it's it's bad to see like a man beating up a woman, but I'm like, okay, we put like a giant guy against a tiny guy and that's fine, and like we'll put a giant woman against a tiny woman, that's fine, but like, oh, like if we had like Nyla Rose and Serpentico like have this long running online beef that's really fun to see. And like you're telling me that like, oh, we could never. I mean, granted, that's even more complicated because of people's transphobia. But like, I'll shift it and I'll say Jade Cargill. We couldn't put her in the ring with Serpentico. Like that would be so fun, And I think it's just about like how do you tell a story? And I mean, granted, again, using like the WWE Vince McMahon example, like it's been shown that like people aren't necessarily going to be sensitive about it. And like, honestly, I am torn because the way I see Tony Khan book women now, I'm like, maybe I don't want him to put them in the ring with men. But yeah, like I saw a local show and Masha Slamovich, I've seen her a couple times now because she seems to be like really on the indies a lot. And it was cool to see her against matches against men. However, it also seemed like they kind of put her up against like some of the lesser guys who like just weren't as good. And she was like running circles around them. And that really bummed me out because I was like, she's as good as the top guys here. Like, thank you for like putting her in the match, even if it's against a man, but like, come on, like give her someone better to work with. So yeah, it's complicated.
It is. It definitely is. There's a lot of advertising. There's a lot of stuff with the advertisers, and yeah, Axe Bomber said Tony Khan doesn't like intergender either. Probably, I think that's probably a good.
He doesn't like women, it seems.
Yes, too. I will say this. What I want to say is, number one, I would love to get beat up by a wrestler. So for people saying that when I say it's fake, I couldn't, take a chop or something like that. All I fucking want in my life is to get beat down in a wrestling ring. I performed in one time and I ran the ropes and I almost fucked my back up. But, sometimes it's, I don't mind getting hurt. I love pain. There was a few times where we talked about blading at live shows and stuff like that just to do it. And that's not out of the question for me, because I would love to bleed all over the place. But, well, Rory, I want to thank you for calling. And please call back.
I will. Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right. We're going to get this next one. Oh, hello. Thank you for calling Street Fight. It's me. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Murder B. It's Brooklyn Skulls in the chat.
Ah, Brooklyn Skulls. How are you doing?
Good. Long-time listener, second-time caller.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't say first-time caller. I can see that you've called before. I don't think people know that.
I have a trivia question.
Okay.
Okay. Can you tell what this is?
No, I can't hear anything.
Those were my Legos.
Oh, you're playing Legos too? Hey, I'm playing Legos right now. I got Legos in my hand. I like to make like a brick when I'm doing the podcast because, again, I've talked about with the Legos, I can't quite figure out how to build my own things, but I do. I am. That's kind of when I'm podcasting and I have them out and I'm kind of building stuff. I'm kind of doing it and saying like, I'm paying attention to what I'm doing and hoping that I'll figure it out at some time. But I'm also, not very talented when it comes to like drawing or building or any of that stuff. Modeling, like not modeling, like as in like a hot dude, like Zoolander or something. But like, I just never had much artistic talent. Words. I'm good with words, I guess.
We know you don't like modeling in the bedroom.
No. Well, I mean, I did. What was I doing something the other day? I was like pretending to dance, but the song that I can't remember what the goddamn song was. I was trying to be like do a sexy dance, but I didn't do a good job. Nobody, my wife didn't much care, but turn off all the lights, you go in there and you get the job done. I get the job done. Okay.
2 quick questions for you.
Go for it.
Do you ever go for the retired Lego sets?
No, not. I would love to, like, for the ones that I want. Like, there are ones that I would like to get, but I think like, I just like putting them together. I mean, obviously, if there was a retired one that was like a video game one, generally I like the video game ones and the car ones. I might go after something like that. But I don't think they've been doing the video game ones for very long.
No, I've been working on the old fishing store, and I love it.
The fishing store? I'm looking.
It was a very popular one. It was super popular, but it was before my time. And then they retired it quickly. So I had to get it eBay style.
Fuck. I just got it up here. $549 on Amazon. I don't see how many pieces it is, but it's very expensive. I don't have $550. I've been looking on Amazon at the fake ones, the fake Lego sets, and they have the Breaking Bad camper, like meth lab. And I'm so close to pulling the trigger on that one. Just to have like that is one that Lego would never make. The fucking the Breaking Bad truck. I wish they would make edgy Lego sets. Not like a naked lady or nothing or dude. But like, I don't know, like the Terminator. One of those things that's like super fucking that's like R-rated. But really fucking popular. I wish they'd do that.
Those would be fun. They stayed G, which is pretty frustrating.
Yeah. Well, PG, because I have a Back to the Future one, which is that movie's very not clean. You know, all the jokes about it people have said about, he's trying to, his mom's trying to fuck him and stuff like that. That's, we're a little finer with, we're a little better now with incest, like on the internet and stuff, but not that fine. So
True.
good.
Okay, and question number 2.
Okay.
What's up with your Murder Brian weightlifting? I haven't heard any updates recently. I'm just hearing about walks and no weightlifting, and I have been out of the game.
I haven't been lifting since the summer. I was out. I've been doing my walking again. I want to get up to running. I don't know if I'm ever going back to lifting. I can't afford a trainer, and I don't know. I don't think there's any real, unless you can get a trainer. I don't know how you would learn how to do it correctly and not hurt yourself. And I kept hurting myself, so I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna walk or do cardio and stuff, and just I'm gonna do cardio so I can stay alive and shit is what I want to do. But I don't know. By the end of the winter, I will have decided I need to get back into weightlifting. So I can definitely see it happening. I didn't like my gym either. It was kind of gross. Like, it was always like kind of dirty in there, and all of the equipment was like breaking down, and it just, I don't know. My wife didn't like being there. It was always fucking packed. So we just stopped going, and we're still fucking paying for it. That's the fucking problem. That's how they get you in the gym game. They just expect you to give up. And that's exactly what I did.
You gotta cancel it, man. You gotta cancel.
Yeah, I know. $75 a month I'm paying. And I also paid for a trainer for a while, which the trainer was awful. Like, not a good trainer. And it wasn't my own personalized trainer. Like, rich people get one guy or woman that they go see every week, and they help you chart your progress and shit like that. But like the place I was at, you just got who you got. And I didn't never know if I was doing the right thing. I didn't ever know. I never really moved past just doing the 5 exercises they taught me. So I don't know. I'm considering I'm considering getting back into it, maybe at a different gym, maybe with a different trainer.
I mean, that sounds like the world's worst gym.
It sucked. It was shitty place. It was just, everything was broken. It's in my neighborhood, and it's close to me. And it was like, it looks nice from the outside, but when you get in there, it was nasty. I didn't like it there. So I gave up. I might buy some stuff to do it at home too. I have considered that. But yeah. Well, thank you, Brooklyn Skulls. I hope I answered it.
You did. Thank you. I'm stuck in the same place. When I go to the gym, I get injured. I had a trainer for a while, but she moved. I know what to do, but for some reason I can't motivate myself to do it. So here I am walking.
It's tough. Walking's great though. Walking is so fun. So yeah. Rex Cool Guy in the chat asked if they had Ghostbusters Legos. Not only to have them, but I had them, and then I sold them. That's one of the ones that people did buy. I bought the Ecto 2 or Ecto 1, whatever the fuck it was. So yeah. But yeah. Well, thanks for calling, Brooklyn Skulls. It's good to hear from you. Please don't be a
thanks.
stranger.
Talk to you next time.
Goodbye. All right. I'm going to take another call here. Let's see. Now, this is the call that I earmarked as yelling at me about seatbelts, so we will see. Hello. It's Brian. Who am I talking to?
You're talking to Josh, Brian. What's up?
Not a lot. Well, I'm working, just sitting at work.
Uh,
How are you, Josh?
uh, not doing so hot. Not
Oh,
doing
what's
so well.
going
I've got the
on?
flu right now. I've got the flu
Ugh,
right
I
now.
got the
Let me
shot.
kind of. Oh, did you? I did too.
Oh, don't say that. Now that's got me thinking I'm going to get the goddamn flu. I have a sore throat. So
Yeah.
but
Yep.
I fell asleep
That's
the
me.
other night and I mouth breathed all night
I do too.
and
I do
it
too.
swole up. My mouth was super dry and it swelled up. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping that's why my throat hurts because it doesn't hurt that bad and I'm able to talk. So I don't know.
Yeah. I
The
usually
flu,
get
that
my.
sucks.
Well, usually my thing is sinus infections. That usually kind of kicks me in the butt a couple of times a year, usually.
Yeah, I
But
don't get that stuff. I don't
I
get the flu either.
I heard.
I haven't had the flu in
Oh, really?
years. Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. Sorry to kind of cut you off, man. I just need to get some stuff off my chest, and I figured this would be the place to do it.
Go
I
for it.
heard you through Chapo. That's the only reason I know you exist. So I was like,
Well,
oh,
that's nice.
okay, this dude seems pretty cool.
Thanks.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. I'm gonna be 40 next year. I'm in a horrible life situation where I'm as a lot of people, though I know that going through the same crap I am, and I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I'm wondering where the
What's
hell.
bad?
Well, let's see. I clean houses for a living. I am scraping by. I live at home. I've been helping to pay my parents' mortgage since I was 18.
Okay. Well, that's
I moved from a
something. I
small
mean,
town. Yeah, moved from a small town that I don't know if you're for the younger kids in this audience. I doubt they remember you. Maybe you do. Remember JFK Jr. had a magazine called George.
I do. I do.
All right. My town was rated by George Magazine as the worst city in the world.
Oh, what do they know? That's what I would say to them. I mean, I'm not one of those guys that gets all protective of where I live or whatever. But
Neither
if
do I.
somebody does that, yeah, if somebody does say something like that, I'm like, man, what do you know about here? Uh, I get territorial when it's somebody from outside saying stuff to me.
I criticize that place day in and day out. In fact, I avidly avoid people from there. That's how
Yeah.
much I hated that place.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how I am too.
So anyway, my father's job. My father worked in retail. There was really nothing there keeping that. The only thing that keeps that place afloat is because it's on the border, and there's like 2 small prisons there. You either work for the Border Patrol Customs INS, or you work for the state prison in some capacity, or you work at one of the 2 or 3 stores that were there. Now there's just a Walmart and a CVS, and that's about it.
That fucking sucks.
So like when
'cause
you,
that's like you see all the dipshits that you grew up with that could have gone in a good direction with their life.
Yep.
But it's basically like people don't like to move away from their hometown, and all of the jobs in this town are fascist jobs. So you're kind of like, I can work at Walmart, or I can just be a border patrol agent. And you
I have my freaking cousins who got out. They got out. This is in Arizona. They got out. Like, we're going to school in Tucson and Phoenix. Got out. But, the economy went down the fucking toilet. We're you know what I mean? Because their parents were like in INS and stuff like that. It's like, oh, well, you can come get a job with your associate's degree. We'll hire you, and you'll get a good government job with a government pension. You know what I mean? My sister
Yeah,
moved back down there, man, because she got a house for under 200 for about $200,000.
that's
That's the only
that's
reason she
never,
moved back.
and that's never like for me, growing up when I did and where I did specifically like in 2009, uh growing up in Columbus, and I had moved downtown into downtown Columbus from Groveport. Groveport was
Hmm.
only 25 minutes from downtown, so it's not like I moved far or anything like that. But people told me so often, like, you can get a fucking house for no money in Detroit, like nothing. But it's like,
Hmm.
what is there? Like what? Because I mean, I like Detroit now. I've been and
Hmm.
stuff, but it's like, yeah, it doesn't have like a bus. It doesn't have like,
Yeah,
well, they
yeah.
do have buses, but it is like one of those things where it's like, I would caution if somebody told me, hey, I'm thinking about moving to my hometown because you can get a house for no money. It's like, fuck.
That's the
But
only reason she moved down there. The only
Arizona's
reason,
a
because
Arizona's also a weird place, right? Like, um, Arizona is like, people are moving there, and
it's it's it's
like, it's
for some.
becoming
I,
expensive.
yeah, it's if you're coming in from like California or from like Michigan or from Colorado or Washington State, you know what I mean. I clean out in a retirement area, so I hear this all the time from most of my customers. Oh my God, everything is so cheap here. Well, yeah, it fucking is. And I'll be kind of brief. I have to hear these people, give this state a tongue bathing. It doesn't deserve one. Nowhere near does it deserve one.
I
I have
mean,
no freaking I have no high school diploma. When I was coming up as a kid, my mom, I have like learning disabilities, and I know I have them more severe. If my mom went and begged the principal and begged the school, they'd throw a teacher's aide at me. I I can read and write. I have the math of a freaking third grader, dude.
yeah,
And if I had been here in the Phoenix area or a better funded district, I probably would have gotten more help. And that didn't come to pass either.
it's tough. I mean,
I
that's
freak.
one of the things. That's one of the things I can tell you about Groveport is that there's just no money coming into that school. So like, what
Yeah,
they would do
yeah.
is, I see how my daughter is treated at school because I moved somewhere
Mhm.
that I moved somewhere that had a good school district, and I'm kind of mooching off of the the rich
Yeah, yeah,
people
yeah.
in
I
my
know, I know.
neighborhood.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
But
I would have
like,
done this. I
they
would have shit. We would have done the same thing too. Yeah.
they have like, counselors and stuff for the bad kids, or the kids that get in trouble, and they got all this stuff like where they're there to keep the kids on a path. And when I hear my daughter talk about, like, I was talking to the guidance counselor about college. She's helping me get all the stuff done and do all this stuff. And like, it's like, I never talked to a guidance counselor one time the whole time I was in high school. I never did. I never was asked if I wanted to talk to a guidance counselor. And I guess, like, when you're a bad kid troublemaker, maybe they just figure like, you're not going to fucking college. But like, nobody ever tried to put me on the right path, and I think it's because there was no money in the school district. There
Yeah,
weren't
yeah,
enough
yeah.
teachers. It's like when you go to Walmart.
Y-
We've talked about how you can shoplift from Walmart because nobody's fucking working there.
That's right. That's right. And you know what, man? You know what? The older I have, when I talked to a customer of mine, he grew up here in Arizona too. He grew up in the northern part of the state, kind of a small town. Same situation. We compared notes. We both agreed that our childhoods fucking sucked, and the places we live sucked too. So we compared notes. Anyway, well, Brian, this is how Arizona gets its doctors, nurses, and teachers and cops outside of Phoenix and Tucson and the well to do suburbs outside of those places. If you want to keep your license as a doctor, they send you to the rural areas for your exile. Same thing with teachers, same thing with nurses, same thing with the freaking cops, too. They get kicked out of Phoenix and Tucson, they send them out there, they'll take them because they can't get
Oh,
a warm body to fill that seat.
oh, you hear about that like in like a lot of these small towns where the
Mm-hmm.
stories you see
Mm-hmm.
where they're like the police, this cop shot somebody, uh and he's back at work, and it's not back, like, a lot of time it is back at work, but even in the same city,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of times they mean back at work as in these motherfuckers, they just hired them in like a rural town where they're out of the way, and people aren't going to be mad at them. you know
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what? I did not get the veneer of a child. You know what I mean? I didn't get to be an ignorant child. I don't know how else to phrase it. Like I had teachers would tell, like I was in the second and third grade who hated being there and would tell you, all kinds of crap. I had,
Yeah.
I was in the third grade. And my mom got pulled over by a cop, and I was in the front seat of the car. Well, this guy's brother was having an affair on his wife, and he used his position as a cop. He was threatening my mom, saying my mom, she was going to go to my dad and tell my dad that she was having an affair unless she uh, told her, who's my sister-in-law having an affair with. Well, she was never having an affair. It was his brother couldn't keep his pants on, and he was having an affair. Crap like that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
didn't get blissful ignorance. Never had it.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
fucking had it.
Yeah. That is tough. Are you like looking to get out of town, or is it just basically like that thing where it's like you don't have there isn't a job that makes enough money to get you to be able to get out?
We're it's scraping by, just like everybody else, and that's the problem. I got problems at home, and by that I mean, family members, who have, you know, TBI. I've got a mother who's mentally ill. I can't leave these people. Who the hell's gonna come save them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't jump
Yeah,
ship.
I know what you're
As
saying.
much as I would love to jump ship, can't jump ship because who the hell is gonna save them?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's tough. I'm sorry that's happening to you.
God, I fucking hate this country so fucking much.
Me too. Me too.
Uh,
That's something that we all agree on here. It
yeah,
sucks.
yeah, yeah.
It fucking
Yeah.
sucks.
You know what, dude?
Yeah. What?
God, fucking. No, no. I mean, my experiences, my growing up, all that like inform my politics. Like when some of my customers, I really don't have much of a rapport with them. Some of them I do. And like one old guy say, yeah, how can you talk about politics all the time, man? Because I said that's the lens in which I see these things being dealt with and repaired. I said my
Mm-hmm.
entire life has been, screwed over essentially by this unknown system that I didn't know, existed and controlled these forces in my life. And so when I started, looking at politics and studying politics and looking at Marxism and communism, you know what I mean? Wondering
Yeah.
why is this place the way it is? Why are these people the way they are? Why? 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 Where is this normalcy I see, from other people, and you start thinking about that stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if there is. I don't know if there is. What's the word? I don't know if there is people. I mean, obviously, there's very rich people in this country, but I think
Yeah.
when you say when I say we're all in it together, I mean what I mean people, maybe that hate us. I mean they're in the in you know, you know the people that hate us, the people that are awful are in the same boat as you. The
No, I know.
chuds and stuff. But they
No, I
they
know. I know.
they they took it a different way. They just went in the other
Hey,
direction, and that's tough. That's where I think I get a lot of my cuz it's like I thought of things when I was broke as, oh, I'd love to see everybody else. I'm not everybody else, obviously. I don't make a ton of money now, but even then, but I'd like to see, people lifted up to at least where I am. I've always had this thing of like I want to see people lifted up to at least where I am, because I sort of perceive myself as, well, I certainly have an easy life now, but I always perceive myself as having a fairly easy life. Like I never had enough money for anything, and I was always hustling and kind of
yep.
stealing and trying to get by. But like uh I always felt like, well, I'm doing I'm like I'm not dying. I'm not like starving. I get food every day.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's why in my mind it's like the thing that I wish would happen is like people just could be where I am. And I think people would work 40 hours a week to be where I am. Just as in like financially, I'm not like I certainly am living paycheck to paycheck, but it's
Hmm.
not as hard, and maybe some of the reason I live paycheck to paycheck is my irresponsible spending. But I mean, it's my
Yeah.
fault
Yeah.
for sure. I've been eating at home every night for the past 2 weeks. Like that's been our thing. Let's eat at home.
Hmm.
And the
Hmm.
amount of money that I have saved eating at
Yeah.
home
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
fucking crazy to me. Like it makes me feel like when I'm looking at my account and I'm like, well, I'm probably gonna have I'm probably gonna order food like 5 times. But
Hmm.
I've always also felt like everybody deserves some luxury. And maybe I can't afford it, but I'm fucking getting some luxury. You only get to live once. And fucking get yourself some luxury if you can.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I shouldn't say the odd thing is, but like when you talk to more people, and when you talk to people who, since I'm around a lot of old people all day long, most of them
Yeah.
are like right wingers and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like when
I
you
believe
bring
that.
up like when you bring up like, remember Huey Long? Remember that guy?
Yeah, from what's it called? New Orleans.
Yeah, from Louisiana. And these are guys that are like in their in their freaking 80s and 90s, and they'll say, "Oh my God, if Democrats did stuff like that guy, I'd vote for him again." You know what fucking sucks, Brian? Here's what fucking sucks. I've got a mother and son who live together in a condo who I clean for out in this retirement area. Okay, the
Yeah.
husband was a minor. Okay, they've got good working class politics. The son, he's divorced. He has 2 kids, and they both the mother is from Scotland. And just in conversations with the mother and with the son over the past couple of years, and you get to know them. When you bring up like the NHS, single payer healthcare, or like the educational system that they have over there for like vocations and stuff, they'd
Hmm.
love to have that here. They
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
They love it. They would love to fucking have that here. When I bring up stuff like that, my right wingers, oh my God, they foam at the fucking mouth. They foam at the goddamn mouth, dude, to have that shit. They would love it.
They just
They
don't
would
know
love
how
it.
to get
And
it.
then, yeah,
I mean, none of
but
us do, technically.
then I have, I have my neoliberals. I got my neoliberals I got to deal with, who freaking make me sick to my stomach more than the right wingers, because the right wingers don't hide, what they're about. I hate to say that to a degree. They're more upfront with it. They tell you your politics even though you don't ask them about it. The fucking neoliberals, they're the goddamn worst. They're the fucking worst.
I agree.
Yeah.
They're the ones that make me fucking crazy. So, uh,
Yeah.
well, it's,
Yeah. I
I
had the
gotta
I had the luxury. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I gotta get this next call, but
All right.
I
I'll
want to
get
thank
off
you for
your case.
calling in.
Thanks for letting me vent. I appreciate it.
Hey,
I need
call
to get
back
it out somewhere.
anytime. Yeah.
Thank you. Take care, Brian.
Bing. Take care. All right. Well, oh, what the fuck? Hey. As soon as I told him I had to hang up, the person that was waiting on hold hung up. So, I apologize for that. Oh, there they are. All right. Oh, hello. I thought you got in just under the wire. Who am I talking to?
Hello, is this me?
This is you. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Brian. I'm gonna try to keep this as vague as I can, but I'll just say M from Colorado.
What's up?
Well, I just sorry, got to get this out of the way. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Want to thank
Uh-huh.
you and the Street Fight community for teaching me how to not care about work. Used to be all about that life, breaking my back, going the extra mile, and
kind of work?
now come full. Nothing real fancy.
I'm not trying to get
mostly
you
like
to-
warehouses.
Oh, yeah. Don't work hard there. Ever. That is a place you never want to work hard.
Oh no.
Believe me.
I had a. I know too. But thank you. I want to thank you and the Street Fight community for kind of helping reframe my mindset around work and all that. Now I just, well, sorry. I don't want to try to one up the last caller. I feel it for you. It's rough out there for everybody right now.
Yeah.
Kind of in a not so great spot myself. Kind of basically I'm
I'll say
unhoused.
this. I'll say this. It's rough. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but it's rough on. It's literally just rough. All like, you know how like, and I mean you're unhoused. That's you're significantly in a situation that I don't even know how I would handle. Well, I was like for a period, but I had this friend and I just stayed at his house for like 6 months or something after my parents kicked me out. But but I think that like we tend to think there was a time where things were better, the 90s being one of those times, like where like if you listen to conventional wisdom, everything was great in the 90s. It was like the end of history, it was all going to get easy for us. And I don't believe that anymore. I don't believe there's ever been an easy time. I really don't.
No, I totally feel you on that. Like, yeah, I think everybody just kind of has like the rose-colored glasses, and everyone kind of gets caught up in their own nostalgia of wherever or whenever they grew up. I think everybody, everyone experiences it. It's tale as old as time. I forget what it is, like the Greek philosopher complaining about how kids don't know how to use stone tablets to inscribe things. It's been going on forever and ever. But I guess my situation, I'm unhoused, but I guess it's not as bad as it could be. Basically, I'm more or less living out of my job. I kind of have a unique type of job where I work in a sort of industrial facility that kind of in a weird position where I'm sort of working by myself most of the time. I have like a manager who I like check in with like a couple times a day, but other than that, I'm kind of a ghost. I can kind of just hang out wherever or whenever, and it's kind of like they have like a production floor section and then like the engineering section. So kind of, how can I say this? Kind of appeal to like the upper class white neoliberal types with like shower facilities and things like that, which is great for me because I can just basically just live out of there. I mean, and like you're saying, like I think everybody deserves to live with a little bit of luxury, and in my situation, I'm a little more fortunate that I guess the one thing that kind of helps make everything easier is at least if you don't have to pay rent, you can spend money on all the stupid things that you would want to you don't, like tattoos and all of that. There's always a silver lining no matter what. But
Yeah, I
anyway,
mean,
I'm sure you got lots of other calls to get to, so I just wanted to, you know, call in, say thank you again, and to everybody else out there in the Street Fight community, and to that last caller. I know it's tough out there, but you just got to keep pushing through and just roll with the punches. Easier said than done, I know, but I think things are going to get better. I really do.
I certainly hope. I certainly hope that happens. Well, stay safe out there. Are you sleeping in the car?
I mean, it's kind of a mix. I have a couple of friends that I can sometimes crash with, but they got like really nosy neighbors and like really nosy landlord about like who's coming and going and being there. So it's kind of like I can sometimes hang out there, but I kind of have to make a big show of like coming and going so it doesn't look like I'm actually like pseudo living there. But I'm not doing too bad. Like I have a sleeping bag in my car, so when it gets really cold, it's manageable.
Yeah. Well, yeah, stay safe out there. And is there any way anybody can help you out? Do you have like a Cash App or whatever that if people hear this and want to help you?
I appreciate that so much, but I just, maybe it's a pride thing, but I just wouldn't feel comfortable taking money from people like that. But I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it ever comes up that you decide that you wanted, because I'm the same way a lot of times, but I've like loosened up on it a bit, with the ketamine treatments is the one where it was like, well, people like all got together and helped me get these ketamine treatments that like changed my life. And, but I asked for it because I was at the end of my rope. And if you don't feel like you're at the end of your rope, then, but, be safe out
I've
there
had
and
some
stuff.
moments, but
yeah,
I'm doing a lot better now. I was kind of in a really dark place for a little bit, and I'll admit I was kind of in a really nasty cycle of just like hitting the weed vape pen like 24/7 because just being high all the time is better than being sober. But I've kind of gotten moved past that point now, and I'm doing a lot better. I've kind of started to open myself up to like relationships and people and letting people into my life because that was a big thing, just kind of keeping everyone at an emotional arm's distance for most of my life. But that a lot of things have changed in the last few years.
yeah.
But anyway,
it'll
thank you so
improve
much
your
again
life.
for taking my call.
Yeah. Hey, you're welcome. I hope you stay safe and have a good evening.
Yeah, absolutely. You too. Stay safe out there, everybody, and have a good one.
Yep. All right, people. Here's what we're going to do. I have to wake up in the morning and record Gut Shot with Big Tim. I usually get up at 10. I got to do this at noon. And then I got to record a Vacation Street Fight. So it's always good to talk to you all. And, heavy calls there at the end. I'll say that. And everybody stay safe. And, have a good weekend next week. Or have a good week next week. On the 12th, I will be here. And then after that, you start getting my vacation shows, which I have recorded them all, most of them, and they're all very good. So I think you all are going to really enjoy the vacation content. They're very goofy shows. The Dane Cook podcast, I think, is one of it's so far been a really good one, like one of the better ones, in my opinion. So, sign on to that Patreon if you're not on. Patreon.com/StreetFightRadio. Can always use your help. And let's, sign on to the Patreon, and we will see you next week.